Yeah. What are the implications of this? So, from memory, we've got a respiratory syncytial virus vaccine now approved in the United States and in Europe, also based on RNA technology. There's research going on into influenza RNA vaccine, and many other RNA vaccines are under development, with a new plant in the UK in Harwell Science Park in Oxford to produce 250 million Moderna vaccine doses a day, similar in Canada, similar in Australia. The whole world seems to be going flat out on this Moderna endeavour. Do you think that the increased all-cause mortality identified from the Czechia data has got implications for caution going forward?
Absolutely. So a lot of people have tried to put all of the problems with the vaccine on the fact that it was producing spike protein all over the body. And, I think that was a problem, right? And I think a lot of the pathology does have a sort of COVID-like appearance, and physicians were mistaking it for COVID, test negative COVID when people were first being vaccinated. And, the vaccinated are producing spike years later. So there's definitely a spike pathology element of it. But the lipid nanoparticles were known to be toxic. And the companies using them had failed to get any cancer drugs approved, even because the toxicity was too high. And they cross cell membranes, and they go all across the body.
That's even if you inject empty lipid nanoparticles.
Well, they were using it for therapies. But
it's the lipid nanoparticles are intrinsically have a level of toxicity.
I don't think that trial's ever been done where they've done empty ones, which is ridiculous. That's like a really important trial to do, empty ones. But actually, it's not just the lipid nanoparticle, it's the principle of having a lipid nanoparticle that delivers an instruction to make a foreign protein into your cells. Because if that protein is a membrane-bound protein, then that cell has got a death sentence on it, and your immune system will come and kill it. And if that's happening in organs across your body, then that is going to cause all sorts of harm.
So when you say a membrane-bound protein, this is the RNA goes into the cell because it's systemically distributed. This could be in the heart, it could be in the kidneys, it could be anywhere. It produces this foreign protein which sits on the surface of the cell, and normally when that happens, it's because the cell is virally infected. So we have T cytotoxic cells come and just take out the whole cell. So we'll be getting healthy cells taken out all over the place by this immunological destruction of previously healthy cells.
Yes, and even if you had a design which you could do, where it wasn't in the cell, it was secreted from the cell, you've still got a huge inflammatory response to that. And that comes with consequences. And then even if it's just a question of something that was more benign, educating your immune system, if you're changing how your immune system is seeing the world, that can have consequences in terms of autoimmune disease. So every single one of those factors is important to consider. And that Moderna had another trial for an mRNA product, and they saw myocarditis again, for example. And so if you've got a different foreign protein being expressed in the heart, then there's your myocarditis problem all over again. And it just seems so ridiculous that having the story we're being told is, well, this has been given to billions and they were all fine, so now it's safe. Well, no, it was given to billions and it was very not fine. It was really, really not fine. And it's not, and they've thrown a load of money at this. That's the trouble, isn't it? That they've invested in this so massively.
And the British government have got a deal with Moderna to produce vaccines for the next, or genetic products for the next 10 years, as far as I'm aware.
Huge numbers of vaccines, more than we could ever possibly use. I don't know where it's going, really.
Really is quite strange. So we might come on to this in a minute, but basically I think we're calling for a moratorium on mRNA technology until we know what the heck is going on here.
Yes, and that's a nice segue to talk about the Hope Accord just briefly.
It is indeed, which I happen to have in front of me.
Okay. So the Hope Accord, I know you've already talked to your views about it. But
should we just go through the main sections, Claire, if you don't mind?